Hello and welcome to the 8th session of Skillsforce Career Talks. Today, I have one of my batchmates from IATD, Shivaranjani Arora, and she's based out of Delhi. Before I give her background, let me welcome her. So, Shivaranjani, warm welcome to you. Thank you for sparing your time to do
Thank
this.
you, Ganesh, for having me here. I'm
Yeah.
really glad to be here with you.
Great, great. So Shivaranjani, as you know, your field is pretty unique, and I'm choosing the most unique characters in the universe for these career talks because you have chosen something which is a field which is not very well understood in India. It is the field of clinical psychology. So let me give our audience a brief about your background. So Shivaranjani has done a master's in clinical psychology from Amity University in Noida. She is currently pursuing a doctorate in social psychology from Manavrachna International Institute of Research and Studies. 6 years experience with internship in Max Super Specialty Hospital, World Brain Center Hospital, Lady Harding Medical College, and 4 years full-time counseling and rehabilitation psychologist at the Society for Promoting Youth and Masses, right? So she has a fantastic experience in the field of psychology, and she is not complete yet. She is, doing. She did her master's diploma in IATD with me. So that's where I met Shivaranjani, and we had fun during the training because we turned into students. So we had all the fun, and she wants to become a very well-known mental health coach and trainer. So she wants to spread the word about how important is psychology and how important is, sorry, the other way around, how important is mental health and how psychology helps in that. So we need people like her. And she's very creative. To let my audience know, it's not that she does only brain talk, but but she's very creative and she puts her creative work in her own brand called Akarshani. I will send the link of her website where she does amazing traditional aesthetic ethnic jewelry. So if you like something, please do buy, and she will be glad to help you. So with that, Shivaranjani, warm welcome again. Thank you for sparing your time for this cause where I want to create very specific professional videos for students who want to look at what are the other career options, right? They are focused on a few, but psychology is something which is very interesting. So thank you. And let me start by asking you, why psychology? Why did you choose this subject? What inspired you?
Um, you know how we are supposed to take our chosen subject or chosen field during class 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
During that time, my father was very adamant that I choose only science.
Mm,
So I did take that, but I was really not happy during those 2 years of my
hmm
11th and 12th. I was miserable. I'm telling you, I was really miserable, and even like getting up to go to school seemed like a very hard task
True.
because I just did not want to go.
Yeah.
And because all of us as human beings, we know something of ourselves, um, like about ourselves all the
Mm,
time, right?
hmm
And as students, we are very much thinking about ourselves, where we want to go. Now,
Correct.
even if we are not able to figure out where we want to go, we at least know where we don't want to go. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's a pretty unique feature of
Absolutely.
our mind. So I knew that I do not have I have a pretty theoretical and empathetic understanding of human behavior.
Hmm
So I did not want to go into the analytical field of physics and maths, but I
Correct.
was forced to choose those subjects.
hmm
So during that time, I since I just did not want to talk to people like my classmates, I was having very much a pretty hard time adjusting
hmm
because the studies were very hard. My
hmm
classmates were they were getting marks. I was also getting marks, but
Yeah.
the competition was so high, and it was very difficult for me to cope. During
Mm.
that time, I really got into the habit of reading.
Right.
Now, as you know, that reading, everybody knows that reading can be very therapeutic, right?
Yeah.
So during that time, I came across this book called Paging Dr. Steele,
Mm-hmm.
and the protagonist was a psychologist.
Okay.
Okay, and she had gone through a pretty traumatic experience, not just one, like two, three, but it showed how, like, the narrative went that how she got help from a psychologist, and
Mm-hmm.
then went her and herself went into the field so that she could help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I really much resonated that because I was having difficulties myself, and
Mm-hmm.
that is a time when I still remember my English teacher. She
Mm-hmm.
had in one class, in class 12, asked us, Have you really now at least thought about where you want to go?"
Mm.
And I still remember I said that, "Ma'am, I have read this book, and
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go into the field of psychology."
Awesome.
So even though my subject was not psychology during 11th and 12th, I was still able to pursue that for my college education.
So
And that is how.
you did a degree in psychology after 12th?
Yes, it's a very specialized field. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not everybody can go in it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if somebody just goes in, they cannot become successful because you need a very different orientation of human behavior understanding. Okay, so we have, and you might not believe it because in India, we do not have a very, very much positive attitude towards mental health.
Yes.
But one of the first psychology labs
Mm.
in the world was opened in India only.
Oh,
Opened
that's.
in it was opened in University of Kolkata, the
Mm-hmm.
psychology lab at that time. Um, I remember it was before independence,
Oh, wow.
even before
Early,
independence.
early 19th
Yes,
century.
yes, yes, yes.
Awesome.
The concept of this Vipassana meditation that you just mentioned, while
Mm-hmm.
we were getting to know each other a bit more, Vipassana, yoga, this all comes under mental health. Manas.
Yes.
In Ramayana also we have the concept of Manas, right?
Yeah.
So
Ramcharit
Man,
Manas.
Manas, yes,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have Man, and Gita. We have the concept of mind and mental health in
Yes.
our religious texts also.
True.
Okay,
True.
so psychology has been in India. In fact, you will not believe it, but the American Psychological Association, one of the premier organizations for psychology that is followed worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
even their books, on one of the in their prologue pages, it is written that the concept of mind and psychology comes from India only.
Absolutely, absolutely. We just
Yes,
forgot all those things. So thanks for bringing in this very crisp information and very
yes,
significant information, Shivaranjani. So
yes,
you did a BA in psychology. How did it go from? What was the
yes.
degree called?
We in India we have BA, Bachelor of Arts in
Mm-hmm.
Psychology. We also have BSc in
Mm-hmm.
Psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and we also have Bachelor of Arts in Applied Psychology.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so I myself, I pursued a dual degree
Okay. One was
as a
not enough
Bachelor
for
of
you.
no, Bachelor of Arts and Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology.
Wow.
Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
we have specializations at the master's level,
Mm-hmm.
and it is counseling psychology, clinical psychology, social psychology, organizational psychology, industrial psychology, and I think there are many more being added.
Wow.
And so I did my bachelor's and master's together.
Okay.
But
That's
yeah, and it is only now in 2022 that I started pursuing my doctorate degree in social psychology.
absolutely fantastic. So you're going to become a doctor of psychology pretty soon. That's
Yes,
great
yes,
news. So
yes.
Shivaranjani, what are the subjects if a student is interested in psychology, pursuing psychology? What are the subjects they should be good at?
Well, Ganesh, when we pursue psychology, there are generally two pathways that a
Hmm.
person generally takes. Either they go into practicing psychology,
Mm.
or they go into research and
Okay.
teaching.
Okay.
Okay, so the choosing of subjects depends on which field you want to go.
Hmm.
After masters, like right now I am pursuing doctorate, right? But there are people who pursue MPhil in psychology. This
Okay.
is so
Hmm.
MPhil psychology is especially for those who want to go into like hospital and
Mhm.
they will generally be employed as clinical psychologists.
Okay.
They have a license also.
Okay.
Okay, they have a registered license with the government of India. So what happens is, but right now the UGC has discontinued the MPhil
Mhm.
MPhil degree.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so I don't I'm not up to date on what other
Okay.
pathway they have put
Mhm.
forward,
Mhm.
but I'm sure we will get a clarification soon,
Mhm.
because there are many who want to apply the skills of psychology and help people,
Mhm.
especially with those who have disorders like depression and anxiety, which is
Mhm.
very much prevalent in our country right now.
Yes. Yes.
And there are those who want to go into research and
Correct.
teaching.
Wow.
So I myself
So
want to go into teaching.
that's good because you can explain concepts really well, right? I think that will very well suit you. So Shivaranjani, as a psychologist, what are the qualities? Because you have practiced as an intern and you're also doing a lot of counseling, and you see a lot of characters like me come to you with problems, right? Or they don't know they have a problem. Most of them don't know. They say I have a headache, but actually it is something else, right? It might be stress, and you are able
Yes.
to apply. So how do you deal with your patients? I mean, what are the qualities that a typical psychologist should have?
Well, see, we are dealing with the person and their problems that they are facing in their everyday life.
Correct.
Okay, so one of the first skills that I would say that as person in our field is to have very great listening skills.
Okay.
Okay, so sometimes we have sessions where the patient will just keep on like letting it everything out that they have not been
Hmm.
able to say for so long, and
Hmm.
sometimes half the session is just the listening to the client.
Okay.
So listening skills are very important,
Yeah.
and a very a compassionate understanding that
Hmm.
people go through problems, but
Hmm.
it does not make them any less of a person, because
Correct.
everybody faces problems. Now
Absolutely.
somebody who's coming forward and actually doing something to deal with them to improve themselves, that is
Hmm.
very commendable.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we should not be looking down. So an emotional understanding, so
Hmm.
this emotion understanding is very much important, because sometimes we will be hearing about things
Hmm.
that could be not very normal for other people, but
Hmm.
it is actually in our field and we're very quite used to it,
Hmm.
because some of the ugliest sides even of a person can come out during a session, and
Absolutely.
but creating that safe space wherein they feel comfortable to share, that is that comes when the psychologists themselves have very much worked on their empathy, and they have worked on themselves. They work psychology people in our field look towards improving themselves
Hmm.
so that they can help others improve.
Okay.
So
Okay.
listening, speaking very clearly, crisply, able to understand and all this information, and um,
Being
jot
empathetic.
it, or basically shorten it down so that we can get to the core of the problem.
Okay. And it is a big social stigma in India, isn't it, to go and meet a psychologist. People will say, "Are you mad? Are you going to meet a shrink?" The English word, the slang, is to meet a
Yes,
shrink,
yes.
right? Shrink is someone who will, shrink your brain and understand it and all that stuff. So people have a big stigma on visiting a psychologist. So do you see this happening? Like children are forced to come to you by their parents, or a daughter-in-law or a daughter is forced to come, or a son is forced to come. Does that happen?
Okay, this stigma, even when I was studying, I used to think that that this stigma exists in our country only. But I
Hmm.
will tell you very frankly that it is in the West as well.
Okay.
You will find it in all the developed countries as well. They might be
Hmm.
more open to going to therapy, but the stigma is still there.
Yeah, yeah.
People are very reluctant, to open up and admit,
Hmm.
maybe if they've do all the things in their past and seek help,
Hmm.
because they feel like they can deal with it,
Yeah,
or it's in the
yeah,
past and it doesn't need to be brought up. But
yeah,
if it is still affecting your present day functioning, it
yeah,
obviously needs to be worked upon.
yeah.
And the stigma I will see here, see when I was working, we had quite a lot of patients. We had patients from below poverty line class, also
Hmm.
middle class also.
Hmm.
And so it is there in society, but this there is also a growing understanding, so like introspection in people themselves, that अगर हमारा मन साफ रहेगा,
Hmm.
अगर हमारा मन खुश रहेगा तो ही हम खुश रहेंगे.
सही बात है.
So this understanding is
Hmm.
actually coming about in a lot of people. Now
Hmm.
somebody might ridicule somebody for going to help, but you can understand that they themselves have a lot of problems.
Hmm.
So a lot of people are seeking help, and it doesn't matter what age they are.
Hmm.
Okay. So parents, some because of the awareness that also our government has worked a lot upon,
Hmm.
and you can see even in TV shows these days that the
Hmm.
concept of psychology and
Yes.
seeking help has
Yeah.
come up a lot in serials. So even this has, very much improved the awareness level.
Absolutely. I
And
mean.
our government is working on such a fantastic thing that they are ensuring that more fields in
Hmm.
psychology and the positions that need to be filled up by
Hmm.
people in the field of psychology, they are being opened up a lot.
Very
Like
good.
I think it is mandatory here in Delhi
Hmm.
that all government schools, like
Hmm.
all schools, need
Hmm.
to have school counselors.
Yes. Hmm.
A lot of I would say maybe even till 5 6 years back, these positions were not filled, like nobody
Hmm.
was there.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
but now it is mandatory that these people need to be on the employee quota.
Yeah. 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 That's
We have
good.
many more fields opening up. Women and child development, we have
Yes.
scientific officers, DRDO,
Hmm.
DPAS, we have many fields. And
Hmm.
in army also psychology is opening up.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
in India many psychologists are employed in the army only.
Yeah, yeah, because they face a lot of stress, and there have been cases where soldiers and people have gone a bit astray, and they did some
Mhm.
severe things. Yes, there were a couple of cases that I read in the papers. So, Shivranjani, the I just lost my thought. So the thing is, when you are facing a particular patient, do you call them a patient, or what do you call them? Do you still
No,
call
no,
them a
they are client.
they are clients? Okay, I'll use the right word, right? I don't want to say they are sick. So when you face your clients, and do you, I mean, like in the movies they show, you tell them to lie down comfortably on a couch and then you take notes. Is that what happens? And that is, there is a lot of confidentiality about your patient's records. You have to, ask them to appear for multiple sessions, so you develop a kind of a bond with the client as well, because you empathize. And how do you control yourself not to get into the story, but to understand and provide a solution to the problem that your client has? There are two aspects, right?
Yeah. So the movie scene that you mentioned, that is a part of Freud's psychoanalysis.
Yeah.
And yes, uh, sometimes the person doesn't need to lie down. They can be
Hmm.
comfortably sitting and relaxed also.
Hmm.
It is just that when you are physically relaxed, it
Hmm.
is very easy for your mind to open up and speak
Hmm.
what is going on in there. Okay,
Hmm.
so and the other thing is, not to get swept up, because um, sometimes sometimes the patient is just, so much in emotional distress
Hmm.
that they do sometimes, just keep on going. And
Hmm.
sometimes I feel that it is okay for them to go, because
Hmm.
if this emotional distress level is not brought down, the
Hmm.
sessions will go nowhere. Okay,
Correct.
because the client will continuously feel, oh, I had to say this, oh, I had to say this, they didn't allow me to say this, they didn't give me time. So but during even the initial sessions, we hash out a plan with the client, that
Hmm.
be having 1 or 2 sessions per week, and they
Hmm.
will go on for maybe 3 months or 6 months, whatever is the requirement according to whatever therapy that
Hmm.
we will be given.
Hmm.
Even while giving therapy, we have this concept of informed consent, which we
Hmm.
all take very seriously. That is
Hmm.
that we tell the client that this is the therapy modality that we will be applying,
Mm,
and this is what is going to go on in there. Like this is
mm,
the steps. So are
mm.
you comfortable with that? Then only we will proceed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Great.
it's been brought down. So psychology and and the therapies that we have, they have been brought down to psychological. Like we obviously converse in Hindi, but
Hmm.
we also converse in English,
Hmm.
and but it's very scientific steps and procedure. There's a proper procedure and steps that we take. So that really allows us to not get carried away.
Okay. And meeting all these different cases, listening to the problems of the world every day as a psychologist, as a counselor, um, do you get affected in your personal life?
Uh, I will say, yeah, one of
To
the
some extent.
um, to some extent you can sometimes get overwhelmed,
Hmm.
and it is necessary just for us, just like everybody else, to be taking a break every now
Okay.
and then.
Okay.
Um, because I still remember that the since I started pursuing my degree last year, 2022, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was, so I've left my place because I was the place where I was working, because I was actually getting very physically affected, like
Mm.
feeling a lot of tired all the time and all.
Mm.
And at that time, I actually felt that I was ready to pursue my next degree.
Okay. Great.
And so it will be the right break, and it will be right chance to go back into teaching. I am also still taking sessions,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
right now, like I can choose the clients that come
Okay.
to me,
Okay. Great.
so
Uh,
even that helps.
Yeah, yeah, and I just remembered. I told you I'd lost my thought, so I just recollected it while you were speaking. So even in corporates, since I work in a corporate as well, even in corporates, we are now having counselors, psychologists coming in for mental health sessions. There is a helpline. Which has been provided where any employee, if he or she feels a bit stressed, they feel a bit down for whatever reason, they can go and speak to the counselor. So to the students, what I want to tell here from our talk is this is a very noble profession, psychology, being a counselor. You can do it just after 12th. You can take that stream. The qualities that you need to be a very good listener, as Shivaranjani mentioned. She also mentioned you need to have empathy, compassion. So you should really feel for the person. At the same time, you need to have very strict ethics. What are ethics? You should have confidentiality. You should not reveal it. Don't go and tell to your friends, oh, I met this person, he has this problem. You cannot do that. The client counselor relation has to be very, very strict and pure. You will have sometimes get influenced, but as Shivaranjani mentioned, she has some tricks in her sleeve where she just disconnects, takes a break, does some other course, gets into her jewelry design, and she gets a break from her regular stress. So this is a great profession. I think we will have to cut the interview short because of time constraint. But I think children who have a passion for helping others, who have a passion for making a person get away from the most bottom of his life, bring them up, right? This is a profession that you can be involved in, and I'm so happy that I have known Shivaranjani, who's doing this great work, and I want her to help us to conduct some sessions online. Of course, she stays in Delhi, so she can't come down to the south. So, but we talked about it, and she will gladly do a kind of a webinar for school children and college students who might be interested to join and understand, and also ask questions when we upload this video on YouTube. Please feel free to post your comments, and Shivaranjani and I will ensure that we will personally connect with you and help you with your problems. So with that, I will say thank you so much, Shivaranjani. It has been a pleasure talking to you. Though we didn't have much time, we still have a couple of minutes. Do you want to give any tips for anyone aspiring to be a psychologist? Just 5 minutes.
Well, just as I said before, that you need to work on yourself.
Mm,
So, like, get into some reading some books,
mm,
and you you first really need to, like, the main thing in psychology is you need to, if you have a passion for human behavior, what
mm,
makes a person tick, how can I, this person, changed so drastically, and
mm.
maybe you want to help those who have been, very much who have been affected by daily life stress or even any traumatic event, then I
Mm.
would suggest you go into the field of psychology. So,
Okay.
all those very unique crime shows also you guys see, psychology is also involved there.
Yeah, yeah.
Many
Mm,
people, we even have this field being worked on in India as well. There are
mm,
many institutes: CIP
mm.
Ranchi, Gujarat Forensic University,
Yeah.
University of Kolkata, University of Delhi, my own Amity University, where a lot of work is being done.
Mm,
And so if you want to go into this field, I would suggest, if you have a passion for human behavior and you want to help people,
mm.
improve their daily functioning, then I would suggest you go into this field. You will
Yeah.
have to work upon yourself also,
Mm,
so that you can help others. And the right time in this is right now,
yeah.
because a lot of people, the whole world is basically going through a lot of problems, especially after the pandemic.
Yes.
The rat race to, succeed, you have a lot of money very quickly,
Mm,
is really wreaking havoc on the minds of people.
absolutely.
So, but one thing I would say, if you go into the field of psychology, please do not expect in the first 2 years that you will, you will be earning a lot of money. It's
Mm,
not about the money here.
mm,
Um, and at first, I myself, as a younger student, I was also disappointed that, there's not much. But I will tell you one thing, which is very, very true. One of my professors said that if you are passionate about
mm,
whatever field you are going into, if you really love waking up and going to work every day, then you don't need to worry about the money. It will come flowing.
yes.
And that is exactly what has happened with me also. When I really focused and when I really, appreciated that, I was getting a chance to work, I
Mm,
got so many opportunities. I even became a national level trainer
wow.
in Fingered App, and I went to very many conferences. And so this is what I want to say, that if you are passionate to go into this field, retain that passion. Okay, study a lot, try to understand, maybe talk to your friends, really start listening,
Mm,
and really start listening and understanding their
mm.
problems. And then that is going to really help you out. It is a
Awesome.
very applicable field. It's not, like calculations or anything like that.
Yes.
So it takes time. We There are also a lot of courses that people pursue after their degrees, just to, get a more in-depth understanding. So
Yeah.
you might also have to go in there.
Yeah.
But become like a good person.
Yes.
Once you become a good person and you see and you recognize that there is a good in a lot of people out there,
Yeah.
that means 50% of the work is done.
Awesome. That's a great tip. And you are a good person, Shivaranjani. That's why I can vouch for what you said. She's absolutely right. She's a fantastic person. And what she has explained now, the avenues are many in India. And if you're lucky, you can get it abroad as well. You have a chance to be, recognized. She mentioned she has been invited into multiple conferences. A lot of people will start looking at you. There is no medicine as such for the mind, right? And the counselor, the psychologist, it provides you a very soothing medicine which you don't have to swallow, but just to understand. So with that, I think we'll end the interview. Thank you so much, Shivaranjani. I hope this will be useful for all the audience, especially the young students who are scared of maths or science. They can look at, and they have compassion in them, they have empathy in them. This is a great profession. Similarly, we'll be doing some sessions on the non-technical fields like the nursing and psychology and all that stuff, where children get an idea that it's not everyone has to become an engineer or a doctor or a CA or a lawyer, like limited 10, 15 professions, but there are a plethora, enormous number of professions that you can get in, and you can excel in them, and you can make monetary gains as well as become a very famous and loved person like Shivaranjani is. So with that, I'll end this interview. Thank you so
I'll tell
much.
you myself, I have a
Sure.
lot of doctors and engineers who are my clients as well.
See, there
Because
you
of the
go.
problems they have faced.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Shivaranjani. I'll stop the recording. Yeah.